What's up, guys? Nolan here, and today we're getting an early look, thanks to Fusion Systems. We're getting an early look at the Yugoslavia and the Finland, the Reds pack, Double Nation pack, just a couple days early. So what I wanted to do was run through each of the, I guess you want to say, types of decks that you can do for each nation, because I already played a couple of games and I already looked through all the units. And I played a couple games with both, and I very, very quickly found out that the Yugoslavia deck does not really work quite well as mechanized. There's a couple things missing, so I think I'm going to go through and just with both nations and see what you actually do and do not get through them, and actually see what would be the best, what would actually be the best deck to actually use for these nations. And if not the nations by themselves, then maybe the coalition. So let's get into it. So with Finland having all of this crazy recon units, obviously you would probably want to go towards Motorized. So first things we're going to do from at least Finnish, we're going to do Finnish Motorized and check out what we can get through this. Now for this, you can actually get some T55, so I'm going to grab that and just kind of build it the way I would usually build it, with a heavy CV and then a lighter CV. I want a fob in case I want to use a fob, and then a land logistics. I'll build that. That's pretty much how I always do my logistics. Now for infantry, what are we looking at? We're looking at the special forces here. What do we get for regular infantry? These guys are somewhat alright. They're pretty cheap. So what I would do is I'm probably going to keep these as a spammable unit. What are these? I'll go as cheap as possible, but I'll go with the 90s, and I'll grab 2 of those as at veteran. And then we're looking at some pretty good Iglas here, so I'm definitely going to grab a couple of those Iglas. And we only get 2 of these XA-18s, which are the their vehicles, their wheeled vehicles with pretty much the LAV turret up top. With, is that a 30? Yeah, it's a 30mm cannon. Do I want to bring them in that? No, I don't think I do. So I'm going to actually bring them back into a XA-18 or this the XA-180 actually, just to have them a little bit more accessible. I think you get more. Do you? No, you get the same. But you lose 5 points. So I'll grab them, but have them at 7 hardened, just so I can only grab 1 card and I'll have enough of them. They should do just fine, especially with 5 HE. That's actually pretty good. These guys are some, actually, are they shock? Yeah, they're shock. So we're going to want to grab a few of these, because when we get into our, oh, that's cool. This thing's got, what is that? The Musty? Heat rockets. Is that a recoilless? Yeah, it's a recoilless. I kind of want to just kind of put these around everywhere. Who gets the Musty? Is it just these guys that get them? It's just these guys that get this Musty. So I think what I'll do is, Jesus Christ, you can get 12 of them at Elite? All right, then we'll see how those go, I guess. And now we're going to leave the last 2 here for Special Forces, and then we need an ATGM. We got the Spike here, which is pretty nice, but it's only at 2,400. And then we got the Conquerors, your usual Conquerors at 26. I don't know. I like the spike. I like the range with the Spike. And the accuracy. I mean, not the range, just the accuracy. The range is obviously not as good as others because you're at 24 compared to 26, but that accuracy is very nice. I think I will go with that. And what I'm gonna do is I'll go with what do I want to do? Since I'm going for the accuracy here, I'll go a little bit cheaper with the veterancy. So I'll go 7 hardened with that one. Same thing with the man pads here with the Iglas. So we'll see how that goes. And then the last 2. I think, oh, these guys have the Musties. So these are the weapons team / militia that they added in. This is the thing they're experimenting with. So they wanted to see if these guys were any good. Now, if I do this, I could get 14 of these 185s, the XA-185s with the 30mm Bushmasters. That might be kind of something that I want to mess with. So I think what I'll do is I will go with that. I'm going to go with although it is 30 points, just for some infantry and an LAV. Interesting. Oh, this has some grenade launchers too. That's okay. Something to look into. Did I grab 2 of these or just 1? I grabbed just 1 with the Musty. Does it have HE? Yeah, the Musty's got HE. So I think we'll leave that the way it is. I kind of want to see how this goes, because this might be pretty effective here, having 14 of these, although they are 30 points. So I'll grab 1 card of those, and I'll see how that goes. These guys are kind of gonna be my mainstay infantry here. I don't know if I want that, although I don't really have a choice, do I? No. All right, so we're going to go with that, and then we're going to go with one card. The thing that I might switch up here in the future, and we'll have to see based off some gameplay, is I might drop one of these cards for another SF, or I might drop, for when I'm talking about one of these, I'm talking about one of these 20 points, Jakari, however you want to pronounce it. It sounds like something out of Game of Thrones. Sorry, Finnish people. But, yeah, so we're going to go with, we're going to definitely go with the SF guys, because these guys are pretty nasty. But the Appealist here, and even the RECON, however you pronounce that. The Appealist for sure. 20 rounds a minute at 23 AP. You can't go wrong with that in the 700 meter range. Yeah, that's pretty gnar. That's pretty gnar, dude. We're gonna, what are these? 50 points for 10 elite, but I think I'll go with a little cheaper here. What do I get? No, that's 52. So I'll go with that. We get 10 elite here. Does the availability change at all? No, we're gonna stick with that. So I think what I'll stick with here is this. Composition, I guess you could say. I've got my weapons teams. I've got my militia and kind of like throwaway units. I've got my fight it out units, and then I've got my kind of hold position, hold the line with the SF here. These guys should do pretty well. We'll see if they need to be swapped out, because we do have access to a lot of these special forces infantry down here, but they're a little bit expensive. These you can pop 20 points a shot. It's going to be interesting to see the difference between if I have a whole bunch of these 20 points, which are actually, they're in the territory of Jaeger here at that price range. Plus, we'll have to see how they can compete with Jaeger there, and specifically go head to head, because this is a red 4 deck. Anyway, so we're going to move on to support. This Ito 79 is definitely deadly. Bolt was using a couple of these against me yesterday, so I want to check those out for sure. And then we got these Crotals, which say they're radar, but I don't know if that's not really a bug, but just something they missed. Or maybe it is radar. I'm not sure. It shouldn't be radar, at least. But anyway, we're gonna go ahead and grab it anyway, because it does say guided, so I think that would actually imply that it could be tracked, but we'll see. I'm not too up to date on my SAM sites and whatnot, my SAM information. But we're gonna grab one of those anyway, because those are really good. And then we've got these, which are okay. I don't usually go for the MLRS systems, but I do want to grab some kind of artillery. So I think what I'll do is maybe have to go with that. Will I have to go with that? Or the napalm ones? Being motorized, we're probably going to be trying to push for towns. So what would we have to try and think about what would you face if you're trying to get into a town, basically, and it would just be obviously whatever's already in the town. So in that case, it'd be napalm, but usually things that stop you from going into town is one, air power, but we've already got some pretty badass AA, and then we've also got some planes, some pretty cool planes that we can pick later. And then anything like I don't know, maybe we could just kind of go at it with facing all different kinds of like a multi-threat scenario here. But then in that case, we would just have only access to these BM-21s with the airburst rounds here. And I haven't seen anyone use those yet. So I think I think it's really up in the air about any of these. But for me, I think I want to go with the airburst ones. Just so we can probably put a couple of those airbursts into some tree lines if we need to. Just for shits and gigs. Just have that there. Maybe shake up some AA since we don't have seed. That is actually, yeah, that would be kind of useful because we don't have access to seed planes in either Finland or Yugoslavia. This might be kind of useful for stunning. Also, the napalm might be useful. It's about the same range. And the napalm could also be used in the town. No, I'm gonna go napalm with this one, actually, now that I've corrected myself here. Although you can get 4 of these at Hardin, but I think I will go with napalm because here you can use the napalm in the town to stun infantry while you're going in, or you can even use it on tree lines, and it should stun even sometimes tanks if the napalm's good enough. So it's 120 millimeter rounds, so that should be okay. And you know what? I'm gonna say fuck it and grab 4 in case I want to be a douchebag. Because sometimes that happens to the best of us. We'll go ahead and grab 4, and we'll see if we need to grab 2 later. These Sergei mods are actually pretty good, so I'm going to grab 10 of those at Hardin, too. That's our support side. And we got the Charioteers here. These are pretty... That's a really good tank and roller tanks. That's cool. But probably not too much here in somewhat modern day. Not completely modern day, what, 20 years ago, but oh well. Could be okay. But motorized deck here, we're not really picking with... Don't really have the good pickings here. Although we do have this T-55 with 17 AP and 70% accuracy. So I'm definitely going to try. I'll take 1 card. I'll see how those go. Maybe just some fire support. there. What is definitely useful here is at least we get some recon choppers. That's something that you don't get with the deck that I thought was going to be really, really good, which was my Yugoslavian mechanized, and you don't even get recon choppers in that deck. So hopefully they will either add a cheap one at some point or figure out some way of getting around that. Maybe you just have to use a coalition, but hey, but this is a motorized, so we do actually get to use these. So we're going to go ahead and grab those for sure. And then we got a Bushmaster on this BMP here, and we also can get 14 of them at hardened with good optics. Being a motorized deck, I think I'm gonna go ahead and choose those, just so we can get our use out of the recon. So I'm gonna go ahead and go with 10 veteran on those. These have some Conquerors at 2600. These are kind of useful too at good optics, so I think that would be good for some fire support. I'll grab 10 of those at veteran. ATVs, obviously, because why not? ATVs, fuck yeah. They're going to be really difficult to see too. When Bolt was using them against me, he just put them up the road because it's just kind of a meme unit there. The dude's on an ATV. But yeah, if you hide them in the tree lines, they're pretty quick and they're very hard to see because their stealth is very good, obviously, there. So that'd be kind of useful. And then obviously we've got our infantry here. Actually, well, we should probably grab the tanks first. That's the 17 AP. It's the same. Is that the same tank? It pretty much is. This one's called different, but it's T55M, and that's a T55, and this is a T55M, so it's pretty much the same tank, although this one's got some kind of like reactive armor or something on the edges of it, so that'd be kind of cool. Is the armor any different? That's 10.422. This is 7.321, so this tank is actually stronger than that other one, so we're going to want to actually grab... what we can do? Very good optics on this too. Damn, that's good. I might replace one of these. What do we get for vehicles? Do we get any good ATGMs for vehicles? We get TOW2s for vehicles. So I'm gonna drop this one with the Conquerors here for this Peon PSV here, and I'll go with 7 hard into those. Those are more of a recon thing, but so you don't really, I mean, the chance of spotting units is actually more efficient when you get the higher veterancy, but we're going to go with 7 here and spam them a little bit just to get that 17 AP up as much as possible. And then we got these guys. Definitely going to grab a couple of these, but do we get them in a chopper? We do not get them in a chopper, so that's a little annoying, being a motorized deck, but I thought we would have had access to a chopper, but I don't actually know if Finland even has some choppers. I guess they obviously do, but I think it's like they're like civilian choppers that they converted. So we don't have access to choppers here, unfortunately, as transport. But we do have an extra one of these LAV tanks. Do we get any? Well, it does not decrease the availability at all. So I think what I'll do, and it keeps the price about the same. I could lose 10 points if I wanted to, but you only get 5 of them. So I think what I'm going to do is I am going to put them in those LAVs there, and then kind of use that. Maybe I can kind of have some kind of a fire support thing, because when you do your flank and smanks with your little recon units, you want to try and get as much firepower over there as possible. So obviously having 4 Iglas, 6 Apelus rockets, or ATGM, however you want to call it. I guess they're just rockets, not really ATGMs, because they're only 700 and they're not guided, but you know what I mean. They're rockets. 23 AP. You're gonna want to try and stack on a little bit extra if you can. So that 30mm Bushmaster on that LAV is or not LAV, but that truck is definitely gonna be helpful there. Now when it comes to the extra 2 slots, what are we looking at? We got these sniper teams here. Are these with the 10? Are these the 10 or the 5? These are the 10. So actually, I don't think they even have a 5 because they would be here if they did. So we're gonna put them. We'll put them in a truck, and we'll get a whole bunch of them. That's kind of funny how they have the PPSH and then a Dragunov. It's just the complete opposite of the spectrum. One's low ammo, like what is that, like a 10-round magazine maybe, or a 20-round, and like a marksman rifle, and then the other one's a million rounds of fucking 9mm point blank. That's kind of funny. What else we got? Should we double up on the ATVs? Maybe double up on the ATVs and just kind of hide them and toss them everywhere. That'll kind of be a cool little tactic. So yeah, we'll see how that goes for this deck. For vehicles, we got the Stormies, which is obviously a very meme unit, but they're just not effective. They're cool. They're nice to have, but they're just not effective. So I'm gonna leave them out. Oh shit! But I am motorized, so I've got lots of units that I can pick. Depending on what we can do over here, I may or may not. I might have to bring the Sturmies because I got lots of points left. Definitely bringing the TOW2s. For sure. I just don't know if I'm going to bring 5 or 7. I think I'll bring 5, make them as effective as possible. And then we got these ITOs down here. And then we go, oh shit. Yeah, we're going to stack those up for sure. These guys, a little bit memey here. Not too memey. 20 AP. And you get 15 points. 15 points for a 20 AP ATGM. Interesting. Very, very interesting. I might come back to that. I'll see what my points are at after I get my air set up. But these are kind of meh. I think, fuck it. Why not? I'll bring some Sturmies. All right. And then now we'll figure out our air, and then we'll go back if we need to. I'm going to grab a couple of these because this is a bit like the best chopper that you can get. Some more rockets here. But we do want the ATGMs just as some kind of quick support, like, oh shit, he got behind me kind of stuff. And that leaves you with plenty of points over here, too. I think I'll leave it there now. Let me just, because that leaves me with, what are we looking at? We're looking at our 14 points here. So, that is 14, right? Yeah, it's 14. No, it's not. It's 15. Okay, duh. Anyway, we're going to move over to planes. We got our... I'm surprised I don't know that off the top of my head by now. It is 15 points. Anyway, we're going to go to, yeah, B5. And then we're going to do... I mean, there's no seed, so it's not really something that you really directly go... These have rockets and ATGMs? Oh, no, that's a ASF missile. Okay. Interesting. 4 HE, 1235mm rockets. I'll go with the 4 hardened here. Oh, yeah, obviously the F-18s. Do I want to go 1 elite or do I want to go 2 rookie? These things only have 2 rockets each. I think what I'll do is I'll go 1 elite, but then I'll have these MiGs in the back here as some kind of like support. So I'll go with like a 4 train there. We'll see how that goes. We've got our bombers there. We got a rocket plane there. That'll be kind of useful. Some other rockets. What are these? Semi-active against, that's ASF. What's that? 1,000 pounds worth of bombs on the Hawk here. It's kind of a cool looking plane. These are ATGM. Oh, I don't even have ATGMs, do I? Just bombs? Alright, we're going to have to bring these. This has no ECM at all. I was going to say ECPM, but it's ECM. Interesting. Do we want to go with that, or do we want to just rely... I guess we could just, if shit hits the fan, we really need something dead, I think I would just rather use helicopters, because that's what I got these for over here with these TOW2 helicopters. So I don't think I'll waste the card on those, because they're just going to die way too quickly. Maybe napalm. It's between napalm and the 2,000 pounds worth of bombs. At 10 ECM, no ECM. All right, we're gonna go with the bombs here. We'll see how that goes. Air power, airborne is definitely not one that you're gonna want to check out for Finland for sure. But now we got some extra points, so we're looking at 4 extra points. So we can either fill out the vehicle tab, or we can grab an extra chopper and an extra vehicle. So since we're really not needing any extra vehicles, I think what we will do is go ahead and grab an extra chopper. Having some extra rockets won't be too bad of a thing. And then what we're going to do for the vehicles is what we will do. What should we do here? What's this autonomy? 750? That's actually really good. Might be kind of useful to have these a little bit of spamminess there. I think I will go with that. I'll make sure they're veteran though. And that fills everything out. I usually do the same thing for naval because I don't actually get into naval fights really anymore unless I'm playing Ash and Shadows. So I pick pretty much the same naval every single time. Just kind of a wide variety of being able to handle whatever I might want to handle. But I don't really get into fights, so I'm not going to be bringing any Munas for supplies or anything. This is just kind of, if somebody's in the middle of a fight and they're kind of floundering a little bit, pun there because we're on the water, and I can send out some extra support chips here, and then also if we're getting our shit pushed in by some big naval push, I'll have the 27Ks and the Super Pumas there. Plus, what's cool with the Super Pumas is that if you don't get them killed, you can come back and resupply them at your fob. Use a shit ton of supplies, but you can do it. So kind of useful. I pretty much do the same exact thing. Maybe swap out the Torontals for, what was that other ship? I think it's a, what it starts with an H. Where is it at? Huygens, yeah. We maybe swap out the Torontals for Huygens, but I think I'll keep those where they're at for now. But yeah, that is, if I go back, that is my Finland motorized deck. So that is like the pinnacle of, I think, what you're looking at for Finland here, because they have really nice recon. Something that also might work here is possibly you might potentially want to check out an armored, because they have a lot of really cool glass cannon tanks. So I think what I'll do is have my second video, because for this one I'm going to do Yugoslavia too, and just to wrap it up for Finland, for a second video I'll do that. For Finland I'll do an armored. But now we're going to go over and we're going to check out Yugoslavia, and we're going to see why the mechanized doesn't really work as well as you would want to see it. But yeah, so this is Finland motorized. You can find the link to this deck in the description in case you want to try it out for yourselves, or in case you want to make, if you like most of it, maybe you want to make a couple changes here and there, maybe in the recon, maybe in the vehicles, things like that, or in the planes, really anywhere to be honest. But yeah, so on to Yugoslavia.